I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but God is doing a tremendous work of ministry in and among and through the people called Grace Community. I'm completely blown away, and I'm so thankful I get to be at least a little tiny part of it. I wish you could have all been with us just a few nights ago as Linda and I had the unspeakable privilege of sitting in our living room in a circle of people, hearing the stories of some who have just recently come to faith in Jesus through the ministry of Grace Community, and others who are finding a whole new place of connection and belonging at Grace Community and are being revitalized in their faith and are growing in their relationship with Christ. It was such an encouraging evening, and I came away once again thinking God is doing some really cool things through Grace Community. And if you've been on our campus on a Sunday morning recently, you probably know that God is doing some really cool things. I bet I personally met 20 brand new people just last Sunday morning, and that's becoming a weekly occurrence. For whatever reason, God seems to be giving us a ministry of increasingly greater scope and impact, which of course is exciting, but also humbling and a little bit scary. Feels like a great responsibility. And frankly, it's why we're launching this brand new initiative we're calling Unrestrained, pursuing a future of greater impact. I'm standing right now in the first building this congregation ever built, back in 1989, 1 year before I was invited to come and serve as pastor here. And this building was the result of a faith-filled desire to pursue a future of greater impact by those who originally planted this church in the sleepy little rural town of Spring Hill, Kansas. I'm so very thankful for their vision and their sacrifice. The worship space, which by the way has been remodeled and repurposed half a dozen times through the years, and now serves as our children's worship space, is a 40 by 40 room. Eventually we filled it to capacity and beyond, and then we added a second service. Then a few years later, we built a second building with more space. And through the years, we've continued to remodel and repurpose and use space as creatively as possible. But now we're once again feeling some constraints. And we believe it's time to build again in order to be unrestrained and to pursue a future of greater impact. As we've assessed our needs, we've decided to address three top priorities. Children's ministry space, meaning early childhood and elementary ages, common space, meaning foyer and traffic flow, and youth ministry space, middle school, high school ministry space. So that's what we plan to build, God helping us. We're really feeling the squeeze in our children's ministry space, which is a fantastic problem. We have so many young families and kids. So we plan to build new, more spacious, more secure, more effective space for kids ministry. We're also feeling the squeeze in our common space. Our foyer is often very full and very loud, which admittedly is kind of fun, especially for the extroverts among us. But oftentimes traffic flow can be a real problem. And finally, youth ministry space. God is doing such awesome things through our ministry to and through our middle and high school students. And even though they're not technically out of space, we don't have a space they can really call their own. And we're convinced that if we did, we could be even more effective and more fruitful in our ministry to teenagers. And we really want to be as effective and fruitful as we possibly can. So we've been seeking God's mind and God's heart about what to do next, and we've come to the conclusion that it's time to build. However, as you're probably aware, building is expensive. Seems like you can't stick a shovel in the ground without spending $1 million. So that's a huge challenge. But we're convinced that God and God's people, called Grace Community, with God's help, are up to the challenge. So we're unapologetically rolling out a big, giant, audacious ask for all of us whose lives and families have been so positively impacted by Grace Community. And even more so, For all of us who believe that Jesus is the hope of the world and want to help Grace Community be unrestrained in its opportunity to pursue a future of greater impact for the sake of a lost and broken world. You want in? Here's what it's going to take to accomplish this project with minimal indebtedness, which is absolutely our plan. You might want to sit down for this. We need to double our income for the next 3 years, which of course means we're asking as many of us as possible to double our giving for the next 3 years. Now, wait. Don't stop listening. Take a deep breath. I know, I get it. I might have been born at night, but it wasn't last night. I know not everyone can or will double their giving. In fact, that's going to be a huge stretch of faith for Linda and I. And we're as all in can get. But we are asking God to help us find a way to do that. For you, doubling your giving might honestly be an absolute impossibility. I understand. If that's the case, no harm, no foul. We're just asking that you do whatever God will help you do from an unrestrained, generous heart. But there are others who, with some level of priority rearrangement and personal sacrifice, can actually make it happen. And when we consider what Jesus has done for us, some level of personal sacrifice just seems to make sense, doesn't it? Others of us, truth be known, haven't really even gotten into the giving game, hardly at all. And to significantly increase our participation won't really be all that hard. And finally, there are some among us who have been blessed with some super abundant financial resources in this season of life. And it's not out of the question for you to not only double your giving, but maybe even triple or quadruple it for the sake of helping us pursue a future of greater impact. As you ponder your possible level of involvement, consider these words from Jesus. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth where moths and vermin destroy and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven where moths and vermin do not destroy and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. I think that means it's really wise to invest heavily in things that are of eternal consequence, like reaching as many people as possible with the great good news of Jesus, which is what this project is all about. So, 4 final things. First of all, stay tuned for the virtual walkthrough of the proposed space after I get done talking. Second, take a look at the proposed floor plan. Third, feel free to contact us with any questions you might have. And fourth, if and when you're ready to jump in, fill out the digital pledge card and let us know. Thanks so much for your time. And thank you in advance for your unrestrained generosity and for helping us pursue an unrestrained future of greater impact. May God richly bless you.